Hello, hello, everyone. Let's talk about Alex Garland's latest movie. It's Men. First here, brief synopsis for you. The movie stars Jessie Buckley as Harper. While trying to cope with a personal tragedy, Harper heads off to a secluded cottage for a little quiet and healing time. However, while she's there, she notices someone following her, or rather, stalking her, and from there, things get increasingly dark and nightmarish. First up with this one, it is already quite clear to me that many out there have a lot to say about this movie, even well before its release. So just a reminder, if you don't like the film, if it's not for you, that is totally cool. All takes are allowed here on this channel, as long as you treat other commenters with respect. That's it. Oh, and me too for that matter, please. All right, so now, where do I fall on this movie? I would say kind of right down the middle, but teetering positive. First, for what I loved about Men, the performances. If you've been watching my channel for a little bit, you're probably already well aware of the fact that I think Jessie Buckley is one of the best out there right now, and I guess I'll use that as an excuse to say, if you have not seen her performance in Wild Rose yet, what are you waiting for? Go watch that while you're waiting for Men to come out. And then also, Rory Kinnear is just downright phenomenal in this film. This movie really does largely rest on their shoulders, and even though there's exceptional work happening in many departments, I am quite convinced that they could not have pulled this off without actors of their caliber with such boundless willingness to go to really dark places with their characters. Now, another thing that I really loved about Men, it's Alex Garland's eagerness to just swing for the fences and the fearlessness with which he approaches tackling really complicated themes and ideas via genre storytelling. As I already said in my social media reaction to Men, I would much rather see a flawed but daring film over one that plays it safe any day, and that is what Garland delivers here, and really he always has delivered that with all of his films, and he's a type of creator who I think always will. But, of course, what you might be able to tell that I'm getting at here, or teeing up, is that not all of this movie worked really well for me. I think Men is at its best when it's functioning as this highly absorbing psychological horror thriller that really puts you firmly in Harper's shoes and her headspace as she's trying to manage this really suffocating mixture of loss and guilt, and doing so while trying to deal with how gender dynamics shape her experience, trying to process and manage those feelings. I was not keeping my eye on the clock while watching the film, so I can't say this with certainty, but I suspect that I was fully with Harper, deeply feeling the emotions and the unease that she was carrying around for about the first half of the movie, I would say. Where that started to dissipate, and what I'm about to say is no spoiler, you could see this in the trailer, Kinnear plays all the men in the movie, so the strength of the film started to dissipate when the youngest of the men popped up, and I would say just didn't look quite right. Not terrible by any means, but off enough to take me out of the film. And what happened was that wound up having a bit of a domino effect where, while Kinnear's performance is great from top to bottom, the multiple roles started to have what I think might have been an unintentionally comedic effect on me. And, you know, I know that sometimes chuckles can come from earned fear and insecurity while watching a scary movie, almost like a defense mechanism, but this didn't feel like that, and it happens again later on during the climax of one of the biggest set pieces of the entire film, which is rather unfortunate. I think a big reason why that happened isn't just because, let's say, a visual is a little off, but rather because Garland pushes it one step too far without adding anything new to the conversation. Without spoiling anything here, of course, when it comes to my reaction to that big ending set piece that I just referenced, I kind of went from like, I see what you're doing here, I see what you're going for, and wow, that's a really powerful and unforgettable way to make your point. But then all of a sudden that turned into, okay, you made your point and you're still going on, and now you're losing me a little because of it. So ultimately, while I was wowed by many aspects of Men, I was left feeling a little emptier than I would like at the end of it. And, after going through all of that, it really felt like I should have taken more from the experience. All right, let's score this one. I am giving Alex Garland's Men 3 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimovie scale. I might as well do this right now because I know many of you will ask, and also because, it's probably pretty obvious how I feel about this at this point, but my Garland feature film rankings currently stand at Ex Machina at number 1, Annihilation at number 2, and then Men at number 3. The performances and the atmosphere are just top tier from start to finish in Men, and the ambition here is through the roof, and it's something that I greatly admire. But ultimately, Men landed in a place where it was a little less thematically robust and interesting than what I expected, what the beginning of the film was teeing up, and just what I was hoping for throughout. So that is where I landed on Men. If and when you see the movie, hit that comment section below. Share your own thoughts right there. Before I let you go, I owe some Patreon shout-outs to some wonderful people, and those people are Tommy, MK Songbird, Wessel, Carol, Michael, and James. Big thanks to all of you longtime supporters. You are key to keeping this whole operation up and running, and clearly I love doing this, so thank you for supporting what I love so much. To everybody out there watching this review, please don't leave it without liking and sharing it, and I'll have another one coming your way very soon.